hits you like a brick, sometimes, and you just can't control what's going to happen. It just happens, right? You think you have everything planned, at least you have a plan, but then these out of scope things that you don't expect to happen. And today was one of those days when driving in his Ferrari, Errol Spence Jr. gets in what they call a serious accident. The welterweight champ who just defeated Sean Porter. I did a video, they took it down because of the video content on it. I mentioned Errol Spence's next path because I don't want to talk in any negative manner right now due to his condition. But I was saying Canelo and Errol looks like the best match because I feel like Errol Spence was bullying in the welterweight division. He comes in, he can get to that weight, but he walks around much heavier. Now we're in this situation where the welterweight scope is in question with a lot of question marks. And right now, every fan out there, even though I don't have that many subscribers, I want you to go ahead and say a prayer to whatever higher power you believe in and pray that Errol Spence makes it out of this dilemma. Because this division now was looking so heated, looked so good with the performance of Sean Porter that night. And the expectations and what we would see next from Mr. Errol Spence. It's just turned over in one night. There's a lot of people affected by this. And again, I'm being a downer right now. I don't know the scope of his injuries or when he'll ever return, if he'll ever return to boxing. Right now, everything's in question. It's all just speculation. But Errol Spence, that journey I mentioned, moving up, fighting a Canelo Alvarez on his super fight, because Canelo just went up to fight Mr. Kovalev, which I think is a very dangerous and scary fight for Mr. Canelo. He's putting himself in danger. We've seen how fighters that have moved up and had to come back down, such as Roy Jones Jr., it totally affected them. It changed the scope of their boxing careers, and I hope that doesn't do it for Canelo. But right now, back to Errol. Next fight for him, I was expecting possibly maybe a Sean Porter fight. He was calling out Manny Pacquiao. Danny Garcia was calling him out because of the performance of Sean Porter, which was one of the best performances we've seen against somebody we thought was untouchable. But right now, we're just in another spectrum, waiting for the results of what happens next to Errol Spence. All four sports, not much to talk about, just about the incident, the accident. I had a video up. I wanted to go ahead and redo that without the video and just highlight what's going on with the welterweight division. And with this accident, it totally changed the scope. Who moves up next? It's going to be a compilation of fights, I think, between Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and Manny Pacquiao. Those guys are going to have to take the reign. If Adrian Broner decides to move back up, he'll be another name out there, and there's several guys that maybe have to move down. And specifically, I'm talking about Canelo Alvarez back to the division, even though he's fighting much bigger fighters and is probably packing a much bigger punch, maybe at a weight advantage against these welterweights. There's something that needs to happen to keep this division alive. There's still enough fighters to keep it alive, but with Errol gone, that was the big dog. It's tough to see where they go from here. We're going to see a lot of evenly matched fights, but hopefully Errol gets better. My condolences to his family, but I do think he'll make it out. Let's pray for that. Errol Spence Jr., just a quick highlight. Heads up. Errol Spence accident, Ferrari. All four sports. Keep it pushing. Peace.